Disturbing police body cam video has been released now, showing the final moments of an unarmed man's life. Daniel Shaver, a father of two, is seen in this video begging the officer not to shoot. Police had responded to a call saying that a man was pointing a rifle out of a hotel room. Well, reports say the now former officer testified he believed the man was reaching for a gun in his waistband. So that's all the backstory here. I'm going to show you the video, but I do want to warn you, this is tough to watch.
Hands up in the air! You do that again, we're shooting you. Do you understand?
Do not shoot me.
Then listen to my instructions.
I'm trying to do what you...
Don't talk! Listen! Hands straight up in the air. Do not put your hands down for any reason. You think you're going to fall, you better fall on your face. Your hands go back in the small of your back or down. We are going to shoot you. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Crawl towards me. Crawl towards me!
Obviously, we will stop it there. A jury acquitted former Mesa, Arizona police officer Philip Mitch Brailsford of second-degree murder last week. No weapon was ever found. Robert Bianchi is a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney who joins us now on the story. You have spent a good part of your career as well working with police officers and police agencies. And so, you know, you're coming at this from a number of different angles, and yet I know you are outraged over that video. And you haven't stopped talking about it since it was released. What is it to you that is so egregious there?
I am a cop supporter. I am a fan of them defending themselves in very tense circumstances. This is an absolute miscarriage of justice. Yet another person who is unarmed, being screamed at, yelled at, he's frightened, he's being told contradictory commands. And instead of the officer de-escalating the situation, which is what their job is, he escalated the situation. And in my opinion, it was reckless. I'm not saying the cop wanted to kill him. I'm not saying that that's what his intention was. But he essentially put the compliant person in a position where he went and shot him afterwards, and he doesn't have a weapon. This is one of the most outrageous shootings I've ever seen, and it's just disgraceful to me.
We should point out here, it wasn't just the video, obviously, that came into play in the courtroom. The jury heard 6 weeks worth of testimony. Yeah. You and I were talking about it, though. You've gotten a lot of heat because you've been posting about this over the last couple of days. You're getting a lot of heat from folks you know, from friends of yours in law enforcement who say he's doing exactly what he was supposed to do.
Well, what the law enforcement community is doing, and again, I respect it, is that they're saying, well, we don't know the circumstances and we weren't there unless you're there. Well, unfortunately, we have to look at things with 2020 when we go back and we start to analyze and break these things down. And what I'm just saying is just because you can do it legally doesn't mean you should do it legally. This officer is screaming and yelling, his untemperamental conduct, the stuff that's written on his rifle, which is very, very disconcerting in terms of, in my opinion, a mindset of this person. And you're giving this guy so many contradictory commands. Put your arms on, put your arms out, go down on the ground, interlock your fingers. If you do that again, I will shoot you. Do you understand?
Right.
I mean, he's frightening this guy to the point where he can't comply. He's scared.
You bring up what's written on his rifle. So for folks who aren't aware, etched into his rifle were the words, "You're blank." That word starts with an F. I'll let you at home figure it out. The attorneys for Shaver's widow wanted to bring this into the evidence. The judge said, you can't. What's etched on the gun, that's too prejudicial. You can't do it. And yet this is one of the things that we're told by the police department he was actually fired for, is what was etched into the gun there. I mean, how could it work both ways there? It's too much for the court to hear, but yet it entered into the issues that led to him being fired.
Right, well, the officer, when he was at trial, was on trial as a criminal defendant. And he has the full rights of any criminal defendant, and he shouldn't be treated differently as a defendant just because he's a cop. And a lot of times judges will exclude certain evidence that they feel that the probative value of that evidence doesn't outweigh the prejudicial effect. And essentially,
did you agree with the judge there?
I would have allowed it in because I thought it was part of a mindset. However, I do get the idea that what the judge was saying is that I don't want to put a piece of evidence in that if there is a conviction down the road, an appellate court reverses it because they felt that evidence shouldn't be admitted. So I get why the judge did what he did.
He was acquitted.
Right.
Could he get a job now somewhere else?
Okay, so
again?
That's a great question. So let's make a distinction here, okay? The fact that he couldn't prove it beyond a reasonable doubt to 12 jurors in a courtroom doesn't mean that he didn't violate protocols and procedures. Tactically, he made many mistakes in this particular case, and that's going to follow him. And that's why the department fired him, one of the reasons they fired him. So I think that any department that would pick up a guy that acted like this in the temperamentally unfit manner in which he did would be crazy to hire this person back.
Bob Bianchi, always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Terror near Times Square.